Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Granta Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Radha Kalachandji Bhagavan Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Dustin Brew, could you pass me the laptop? Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We'll begin with an invocation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, One should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayana and Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. It's hard to see. You want to go closer? Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. We will now do a quick Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana is an auspicious invocation, and it's a prayer to the spiritual masters. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tirubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Petitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyacha Deshatarine. Jai. Okay, we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7, Indra offends the spiritual master Brihaspati. So, does anyone want to give me a tiny recap of what we did, what we heard about yesterday? And remember what we talked about yesterday. Indra. Oh wait, I don't think you were here yesterday.
I still heard the class online.
Okay. No, he heard it online. Okay. All right, well, maybe I can just do a recap while we got the mic changed. So, you could say, once upon a time, Indra, the king of heaven, for those who might be newer to the Bhagavatam, Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain and thunder, he was sitting on his nice chair, as you can see here, and when his spiritual master, Brihaspati, entered the assembly, he refused to stand up, and he ignored his spiritual master. Why? Because he thought he was so great. He was enjoying heavenly opulences. And so because of this, the spiritual master of the demigods, Brihaspati, he was frustrated with Indra, and he just left. And he actually went invisible so that Indra could not find him anywhere. So Indra, understanding his mistake, he searched all over the universe, but he could not find Brihaspati. And then eventually the demons attacked the demigods, which happens quite often. And so they had because the demigods didn't have the strength from their spiritual master, and because the demigods didn't have the blessings of their spiritual master, the demons, who usually get defeated by the demigods, were actually conquering over the demons. Does anyone remember who the demon's spiritual master is? Shukacharya. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada, in the text we're going to read, one of the purports, he describes how the demons, they worship the demigods like Kali and Lord Shiva and Durga, and so they get their power in that way. And the demigods, they were being defeated. This is a really nice painting. This is actually a painting of the battle on the shore of the Milk Ocean, but I thought it's cool to illustrate their fights. And you can see Indra with his lightning. It's pretty cool. And this unfortunate demigod got shot. Quite brutal. This is another depiction. You see Indra up here with his thunderbolt. So yeah, and then what happens next is Indra, he doesn't know what to do. He's kind of panicking. And there, Brahma says that they can, because of their strength from following and worshipping their spiritual master, they can even take up to the abode of Swarga. That's how powerful that they've become. So Indra approaches Lord Brahma, and we're going to hear what Lord Brahma has to say to get Indra out of this pickle. Can someone please read text? Or we'll read text 20. Yeah, I guess we can just do a recap. Or no, we already did a recap. Let's just go to text 25. So this is Lord Brahma speaking to Indra.
O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishvarupa, the son of Tvashta, and accept him as your guru. He is a pure and very powerful Brahmin, undergoing austerity and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to side with the demons.
So something we're learning from this is that we always need a spiritual master. And the demigods are no exception. They too need a spiritual master in order to properly discharge their duties. And because their current spiritual master has left, they are now trying to find someone to take shelter of. Dustin Peru.
Srila Sukadev Goswami continued, thus advised by Lord Brahma and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishvarupa, the son of Tvashta. My dear king, they embraced him and spoke as follows.
The demigod said, Beloved Vishvarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashram as your guests. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents.
Yeah, so the demigods are they're senior to Vishvarupa. This is coming later, but I thought we could just get a visual of what Vishvarupa looks like. He has 3 heads, actually, interestingly enough, and he is a very powerful Brahmana sage. And as emphasized in the previous verses, his power came from austerities. Someone please read the next text.
O Brahmana, the highest duty of a son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parents. And what to speak of a son who is a brahmachari?
The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is the personification of all the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother King Indra, a mother the planet Earth, and a sister Mercy. A guest personifies religious principles. An invited guest personifies the demigod Agni, and all living entities personify Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Jai. So Srila Prabhupada talks in this verse that we kind of one of the points here is that we shouldn't see in terms of material vision, but we see everyone as a personification of Krishna, of Lord Vishnu, and every living being. We don't think, oh, I'm better than these other living entities, better than these other species. Please read. Next text.
Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. Since you are completely aware of the Supreme Brahman, you are the perfect Brahmana. Therefore, you are the spiritual master of all orders of life. We accept you as our spiritual master and director, so by the power of your austerity, we may easily defeat the enemies who have conquered us.
So we'll read the Sanskrit for text 33, and then we'll continue to finish the rest of the chapter. Nagar hyanti hyarteshu Yavishtan grihya bivadanam Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayodvaistasya karanam. Please recite. Nagaryanti hyarteshu Yavishtan grihya bivadanam Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayojyasya karanam Nagayanti yarteshu Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayojyasya karanam. Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayojyasya karanam Garhyanti harteshu Yavishtan grihya vadanam Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayojyasya karanam. Anyone else? Nagayanti harteshu Yavishtan grihya bivadanam Chandobhyo nyachana brahman Vayojyasya karanam. Synonyms. Altogether. Not. Garhayanti, forbid. He, indeed. Arteshu, in acquiring interest. Yavishtas angri, at the lotus feet of a junior. Abhivadanam, offering obeisances. Chandobhya, the Vedic mantras. Anyantra, apart from. Not. Brahman, O Brahmana. Vaya, age. Jayasya, seniority. Karanam, the cause. Translation. The demigods continued, do not fear criticism for being younger than us. Such etiquette does not apply in regard to Vedic mantras, except in relationship to Vedic mantras, seniority is determined by age. But one may offer respectful obeisances even to a younger person who is advanced in chanting Vedic mantras. Therefore, although you are junior in relationship to us, you may become our priest without hesitation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport. It is said, Vridhatvam Vyasa Vina. One may be senior without being advanced in age. Even if one is not old, one gains seniority if he is senior in knowledge. Vishvarupa was junior in relationship to the demigods because he was their nephew. But the demigods wanted to accept him as their priest, and therefore he would have to accept obeisances from them. The demigods explained that this should not be a cause for hesitation. He could become their priest because he was advanced in Vedic knowledge. Similarly, Chanakya Pandit advises, Nichad apyutamam jnanam. One may accept education from a member of a lower social order. The Brahmanas, the members of the most elevated Varna, are teachers. But a person in a lower family, such as the family of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even Shudras, may be accepted as a teacher if he has knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of this when he expressed this opinion before Ramananda Rai. We can all chant this together. Kiba vipra kiba nyasi shudra kenenai ye Krishna tattva vetas e guru hai. It does not matter whether one is a brahmana, shudra, grahastha, or sannyasi. These are all material designations. A spiritually advanced person has nothing to do with such designations. Therefore, if one is advanced in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his position in human society, he may become a spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, this is a very interesting section, and this is something that we can learn in our modern day society very much so. I'm thinking of an analogy Srila Prabhupada used to describe human society right now. And perhaps it's in relation to, or I don't know. I guess it might be hard to guess. Srila Prabhupada would say that this society is like a body without a head. Does anyone know what that means? Like a body without a head. The head is the brahmanas of society, and we don't have a Brahminical class of society as of right now. And so what happens when we don't have a Brahminical class? Anyone? Like a headless chicken, you bump into things. Anything else? We're kind of seeing what happens in this chapter as well, that because the demigods did not have a spiritual master, they did not have a spiritual leader, all their strength was gone, and all of their intelligence was hindered, and the demons were able to easily overpower them. So we see that in our modern day society, without a Brahmana class, without the spiritual advisors of society, Maya is very easily able to overtake everyone. So Lord Chaitanya, he encourages us in this verse that, or even the demigods themselves, they're saying that to be a spiritual master, you don't have to be senior. So, and actually there's no material designation for becoming a spiritual master. One time, Srila Prabhupada, one of his disciples, said he was sent out on book distribution or some kind of preaching mission, and he said, I don't know anything about the philosophy, you know, I don't know it. And the devotees were like, well, what do you like? And he was like, I like gulab jamans, you know. And so they sent him out, and they were like, tell everyone about gulab jamans and how much you like Krishna's prasadam. So similarly, also, does anyone know the story of Srila Prabhupada and little Saraswati? Anyone want to? Mother Kunti? Where he hides Krishna? I think there's a few, yeah. Maybe Mother Tulsi Saki. Wait. Can we pass the mic, maybe?
How I remember is Prabhupada asking Saraswati, she was going around telling everybody, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so Prabhupada quoted like she knows, and whatever she knows, she's sharing. Something like that.
Yeah, and that she's a preacher. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we're learning, is that anyone can preach and anyone can share from any level of realization they're at. And so we should avoid sharing above our own realization. But this is how we can help society. Another aspect of Krishna consciousness is that the Vaishnava can act in any position. So, let's say you are more managerially inclined and you might have a Kshatriya nature, but if your temple president says, hey, can you do the pots? You do the pots, We're meant to serve in every capacity. And so similarly, we may feel like, oh, I'm not, I can't teach, or oh, I can't give a class or something like that. But often we'll hear, I'm not qualified. So one of my teachers, he says, I'm not qualified means I'm not willing. So, no one ever says, oh, I'm not qualified to wash the pots. And so similarly, to share Krishna consciousness, to teach Krishna consciousness, it's not exactly a matter of qualification, but it's a matter of willingness. It's a matter of willing to be vulnerable to reach the people of the current day society. And it's a matter of just wanting to. And we will see that any qualification will come with that. Lord Chaitanya, he gives qualification to those who want to help others. So that was part of Srila Prabhupada's mission, was to attach the head back onto the body of society. And that way society can function. And so that is also part of our mission as we are following Srila Prabhupada, is that we should do what we can to attach the head of Krishna consciousness onto the body of our society. Another interesting point here is about being a guru. So we understand that being a guru is actually Vishwarupa, he says that I will serve you all in this way. So this is what it means to be a guru, is that you're actually the biggest servant. And being a guru is also a servant in whatever capacity we can, like we had just spoken about. And it's we have to have pure intentions. I heard that before, that's our main qualification to share Krishna consciousness, is we just have to have pure intentions. If we want to amass followers, if we want to gain wealth, if we want to do this or that, that itself is a disqualification for being a spiritual master. But Lord Chaitanya has already given the instruction that whoever we meet, whoever we speak to, we should instruct them or, guide them towards Krishna consciousness. So I think we can keep going throughout the chapter, and we can round back to this point for other things. So let's see, let's keep going, and we'll have Kodi Prabhu read text 34.
Sukadeva Goswami continued when all the demigods requested the great Visvarupa by the priest Visvarupa, who was advanced in austerities, was very pleased. He replied to them as follows. Sri Visvarupa said, O demigods, although the acceptance of priesthood is decreed as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahmanical power, how can someone like me refuse to accept your personal request? You are all exalted, commanders of the entire universe. I am your disciple and must take many lessons from you. Therefore, I cannot refuse you. I must agree for my own benefit.
Isn't this interesting? He's basically saying, I will agree to become your guru for my own benefit because I have so much to learn from you. And because you're my superiors, that's why I should become your spiritual master. Isn't it very bewildering? So it further emphasizes that this is really just a service. Of course, Vishwarupa is extremely qualified, but we're all helping each other go back to Godhead. We're all, I read before somewhere, I think it's in the Bhagavad Gita, but where I just remember this phrase where devotees are enlightening each other on Krishna consciousness. So, this is a very interesting relationship. I'm not sure I have much else to say on it, but yeah, Vishwarupa, he's their nephew, he's their junior, and he says, because you're asking me to, I cannot refuse you. I will become your spiritual master. Next text, please.
O exalted governors of various planets, the true Brahmana, who has no material possessions, maintains himself by the profession of accepting Solanchanana. In other words, he picks up grains left in the field and on the ground in the wholesale marketplace. By this means, householder Brahmanas, who actually abide by the principles of austerity and penance, maintain themselves and their families and perform all necessary pious activities. A Brahmana who desires to achieve happiness by gaining wealth through professional priesthood must certainly have a very low mind. How shall I accept such priesthood?
Yeah, so in the previous verse, he says, although the acceptance of priesthood is decried as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahminical power. So does anyone know why it's decried, or why why it's being discouraged in these verses? Or specifically, if we can, Srila Prabhupada explains it in the purport. I'm not sure how long it is though, so we can go back to it if we have time. But because the spiritual master, because the guru takes the karma of the disciple, it, in a sense, negates their previously acquired Brahminical power. And so it's a risky thing, he's saying, to basically become their priest. And then also in this verse, he's describing that a true Brahmana, they do not become a guru for these impure intentions, like we spoke about. They shouldn't desire to achieve wealth or happiness through their priesthood. And they should live simply. Does anyone know any devotees who pick up grains left in the field and that's how they maintain themselves? Yeah. Yeah. Devotees come and just take for the prasadam. And that's just as good. In fact, even better than just eating some grains left in the field. Especially on Ekadasi, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to see if anyone knew any. But another point is, yeah, this is a kind of a different age that we live in. Yeah, there's no more fields that we can just pick grains up from. All right, let's keep going.
All of you are my superiors. Therefore, although accepting priesthood is sometimes reproachable, I cannot refuse even a small request from you. I agree to be your priest. I shall fulfill your request by dedicating my life and possessions.
Okay, next text, please.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, O king, after making this promise to the demigods, the exalted Vishwarup, surrounded by the demigods, performed the necessary priestly activities with great enthusiasm and attention.
Okay, so he's now doing his priestly activities, and we have just 2 more texts left.
The opulence of the demons, who are generally known as the enemies of the demigods, was protected by the talents and tactics of Sukracharya. But Vishwarupa, who was most powerful, composed a protective prayer known as the Narayan Kavach. By this intelligent mantra, he took away the opulence of the demons and gave it to Mahendra, the king of heaven.
Okay. Jai. And then last text, I guess I can just Or Ajaypur, can you read it?
Vishvarupa, who is most liberal, spoke to King Indra, Sahasraksha, the secret hymn that protected Indra and conquered the military power of the demons.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in this right here. And next chapter will be all about this protective mantra that actually it tells us how to chant it and tells us how to meditate on it. So it's very exciting. But this mantra, it's what turned the tide and allowed the demigods to take their power back and to conquer over the demons. And we're going to read it. We're going to have access to it. So who's excited? I would say, I'm excited. Okay. So we've kind of finished the section, ending 2 minutes early. So does anyone have any thoughts on this discussion we had about the service of trying to help others in their Krishna consciousness? Or reflections or corrections.
There's everybody here always, in every interaction around the temple, there's always going to be spiritual master, disciple, disciple, spiritual master. So it's going to go back and forth over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, okay, now I'm your guru, bow down. No, but if I give you some idea of how to do a service, it doesn't mean that. It just means I'm acting in that role, but I'm not that person. So at the same time, we offer that respect to what the person is saying. Mm-hmm. And conversely, the person who's taking the instruction, they can accept, that person is acting on behalf of the spiritual master. That's all. And if it's done with love, then it's exciting and fresh and happy. That's all.
Yeah.
Jai.
Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu.
Mishra Bhag.
Sukracharya is the spiritual master of the demons. Well, the demons aren't really known for being spiritual, so what is the spiritual aspect of a demoniac person?
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada explains in a purport here, kind of an answer to your question. We can read it. Let us see. I believe it's 639. Yeah, we finished the section. There were a few purports we hadn't read. The opulence of the demons, who are generally known as the enemies of the demigods, was protected by the talents and tactics of Shukracharya. But Vishvarupa, who was most powerful, composed a protective prayer known as the Narayan Kavacha. By this intelligent mantra, he took away the opulence of the demons and gave it to Mahendra, the king of heaven. Purport. The distinction between the demigods, devas, and demons, asuras, is that the demigods are all devotees of Lord Vishnu, whereas the demons are devotees of demigods like Lord Shiva, goddess Kali, and goddess Durga. Sometimes the demons are also devotees of Lord Brahma. For example, Hiranyakashipu was a devotee of Lord Brahma. Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva, and Mahishasura was a devotee of goddess Durga. The demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Daiva, whereas the demons, asuras, tad vipayaya, are always against the Vishnu Bhaktas, or Vaishnavas. To oppose the Vaishnavas, the demons become devotees of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Kali and Durga, and so on. In the days of yore, many long years ago, there was animosity between the devas and the asuras. And the same spirit still continues, for the devotees of Lord Shiva and goddess Durga are always envious of Vaishnavas, who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. This strain between the devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu has always existed. In the higher planetary systems, fights between the demons and the demigods continue for a long, long time. We'll just finish up this purport. Herein we see that Vishwarupa made for the demigods a protective covering, saturated with a Vishnu mantra. Sometimes the Vishnu mantra is called Vishnu Dvara, and the Shiva mantra is called Shiva Dvara. We find in the Shastras that sometimes the Shiva Dvara and Vishnu Dvara are employed in the fights between the demons and the demigods. The word Sura Dvisham, which in this verse means of the enemies of the demigods, also refers to the atheists. Srimad Bhagavatam elsewhere says that Lord Buddha appeared for the purpose of bewildering the demons, or atheists. The Supreme Personality of Godhead always awards his benediction to devotees. The Lord himself confirms this in Bhagavad Gita. Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So we're seeing here that the demons, they're spiritual in the sense that they're worshiping Lord Shiva and Durga and Kali. And so Shukracharya guides them in that worship in order for them to become more powerful.
Is that demigod worship kind of like how they worship Satan here in the West?
Perhaps. I haven't looked into Satan worship much, but yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Any other comments or any thoughts on what we just read from Srila Prabhupada? Achyuta Govinda Prabhu.
Like from what I've heard, like demigod worship, like there are some class of people who are on a gradual progression in their spiritual life. So for such people, it's their path. But at the same time, demigods are devotees of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to respect them, We can't just equate it to Satan worship.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Imagine if Vayu stops doing his service. We all won't be able to breathe.
Uh-huh.
Or Varuna doesn't provide, or Indra doesn't provide rains. We won't have food.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing their duties, so we need to keep that in mind and respect them.
Yeah, it's a interesting distinction that, people worship demigods for different purposes, and we see that the demons have their purpose, but then there's also some who are just gradually being elevated on the path. And that's the service that the demigods also provide. We hear that Lord Shiva, he elevates those who are in the mode of ignorance, and he brings them to Krishna. So I guess it's kind of like not every demigod worshipper is a demon, but perhaps most demons are demigod worshippers.
Krishna. I think there was the clarification that they are envious of Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be worshippers, but not envious of Vishnu,
Mm-hmm.
because that's their gradual progression.
Yeah.
But if they are envious, I think in the purport they said,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, in the purport itself it said all demigods are worshippers of Vishnu. But then if those that are worshipping the demigods and are envious of Vaishnavas, they're always envious of Vaishnavas. So then that's your distinction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Achyuta Govinda Prabhu shared, we hear a lot of stories of people who worship demigods, and then the demigods bring them to Krishna. Jai Prabhu.
I really like Vishwarup's reaction to being asked to be a spiritual master, because he's very humble. He's just seeing himself like an instrument. He's like, okay, I have so much respect for you, and you're giving me this service. I'll do it as a service to you. So, and it's important that we see all the different services that devotees do like that. It's like there's not like higher or lower.
Mm-hmm.
Even being a spiritual master, it's like, okay, Krishna has given me this varna, of being like a leader. And he's given me this ability to speak and given me everything, really, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So now I'm doing this as a service. But for another living entity, their constitution could be that they're amazing cook and they cook, amazing prasadam for Radha Kalachandi. Like for me, that's amazing. Like I couldn't do it. I really couldn't be one of those devotees in the kitchen for hours and hours. It's just not in my nature. So to me, I think it's important we don't see distinction like one is higher and lower. It's just like, okay, we each have our own varna, our own nature, and we're serving Krishna and humbly as an instrument. So I thought that was really inspiring. So Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a disciple of Radhanath Maharaj, and they said that usually when someone asks to take shelter, he says, if you desire, I shall serve you in this way. So it's nice to see that that's the mood of the spiritual master often, is that I shall serve you in this way. Any further discussion topics? We haven't heard from Nanda Braj Prabhu yet.
I was also appreciating like Jit Vishwarup's mentality here. It said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is within Srimad Bhagavatam, so we can understand that every psychological or mindset is within Srimad Bhagavatam. And so we can see that Vishwarup, his attitude was that this was Krishna through the demigods asking him to do the service, because some people are real go-getters, right? Some people want to, go out, find their service. I'm going to go get my service. I'm going to find it, which is good because there's lots of people in Srimad Bhagavatam are like that. But in this situation, Vishwarup he's like, oh, okay, this is coming to me. Here's my service. And so it was just really interesting to me to think about how Krishna consciousness is so liberal in the sense that we have all these different ways and attitudes that devotees have that are serving Krishna. And so it can help us in our lives to appreciate that different people have different attitudes or different mindsets or whatever you want to call it, different bhavs, perspectives of how to come to Krishna. And we can try to see how it's serving Krishna best, not that it's wrong or right because, oh, wait a minute, you should go out and you should be aggressive to go out and go on book distribution and stuff like that. Hey, that's good, right? There's also going to be the devotee that says, well, actually, I like to sit and read Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know what? Krishna really, he puts in these situations where people come to me and they ask me questions, so I answer them, So there's just these different ways that people are preaching or serving Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us this wide variety of different attitudes and bhavs. It's really nice.
Right. Thank you. I just remembered an interesting point about Vishwarupa. Does anyone remember what the demigods would have to tolerate if they accepted Vishwarupa as their spiritual master? Yes, he was always inclined towards the demons. Very interesting. Right? Yeah, and so we'll spoiler alert, but we'll see that in the next chapter, how actually that starts a little bit of trouble. But it goes to show even more that you could say, oh, he sides with the demons, oh, he's younger than us, he's our nephew. But still, because he's qualified, that doesn't even matter. Or still because of his austerities and because Lord Brahma instructed them to, that's why they still approached him. Very interesting point.
I was thinking about your point there that some devotees, by the way, I'm not saying that these people are like demons or these people, but some people want to be around devotees in a certain way. But then some people are like, no, let me go serve at the homeless shelter, and let me go, serve the homeless that are, without any possessions, and I want to be around them. And wait a minute, like, why do you want? Well, no, that's where I feel like my service is, So you have these, again, of such a wide variety of different attitudes in Krishna consciousness. And Vishrup says, no, actually, I like to preach to the demons. I like to, I want to help them actually more. What? Wait, why?
Yeah, very interesting. All right. If anyone has any final comments, we will. Legit Puru said maybe he just likes Prahlad and Bali Maharaj. Mishra Bhagavan. Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. We will read just a little bit about Narahari Sakara. I believe that's his name. So, is this book in alphabetical order? Does anyone know? Okay. Okay, I found him. Page 115. Okay. Sri Narahari Sakara Thakur. So today is his appearance day or disappearance day? Disappearance day. Okay. Before meeting Mahaprabhu, Narahari had written many Sanskrit and Bengali songs about the Vraja Rasa of Radha Giridhari. Later, he and Gadadhar Pandit always stayed with Lord Chaitanya. Narahari used to please the Lord by waving a chamara or peacock fan. Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda's Gaura Arti song glorifies this. Narahari Adi Kori Chamara Dulaya. Narahari Sarkar's family was the pride of the Vaishnavas. By their influence, all people in Sri Khanda became Vaishnavas. The entire village turned into a branch of the desire tree of love of God. Since the time of Lord Gaurachandra, Sri Khanda has been a preaching center for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. One day, Sri Nityananda Prabhu came to Sri Khanda and asked Narahari, "All right, we know who you are. So, where's the honey?" By his mystic power, Narahari turned a pot of water into super sweet honey for the Lord's pleasure. Narahari serves Lord Shyamsundar in Vraja Leela as Madhumati, a pranasakti who supplies mouth-watering honey for Radha Damodar and their dear ones. Sri Narahari Sakara's very being was saturated with Radha Krishna Prema. No one can fathom the depths of his devotion and pure love for Radha and Krishna. In Vraja, he is Radha's dear Saki, Madhumati, a storehouse of sweetness. And in Gauranga Leela, he is Narahari, a storehouse of Radha and Radha Krishna Prema, Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Last paragraph. Narahari Sakara books Pada Kalpataru and Krishna Bhajana Amrita include wonderful intimate songs praising Lord Gauranga and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj said, Narahari composed many ambrosial nectarian songs that overflow with the sweetest devotion. In Sri Krishna Bhajanamrita, Narahari teaches how to worship Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Lochana Das Thakur and many others were disciples of Narahari Sakara Thakur. Though not accessible, his samadhi is in Radhakund. Sri Narahari Sakara Thakur ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma ki jai. Vishvarupa ki jai.
भरौ भुवि भुव भारा तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्री जीव कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम में कामनी वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजितम श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्री जीव गोपालक विचार नहीं पुनः सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विचार नहीं कनकना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण विचार नहीं कनकना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणा त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण्य श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करं आत्मविचारणैकनिपुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण्यकरं Radha Krishna Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajanamritau Radha Krishna Padarabindau Madana Nandena Mattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Krishna Dana Natala Parau Prema Maniji Veera Veera Janapriya Nirma Pujita Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Mara Manta Rakau Bande Rupa Sanatana Rakujiga Vasuda Sadasure Sudev Sudarajalakin Dharnisha Ajavadasa Jadadada Ranna Mandalasani Sada Tuchava Bhutvadi Nagane Chato Karunaya मङ्गलपति शनि सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणेश